Hello, we are live. This is Tim Gosnell on Lunch Money. I'm joined by my co-host and aunt, Melissa Dunn. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
And thank you to you viewers or viewer or no one, the internet void that we are speaking into. We've actually had more live stream viewers over the past couple of weeks than we have ever had.
Yeah.
So thank you to the
people who are tuning in afterwards.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about even during the show. Like we've had up to 4 or 5 people joining us live on the show, which is super exciting.
It is very exciting.
So, all right, today our topic is let me see, I got to read it because I rephrased it and then I didn't put it. Listen, I'm rushed today, guys, and I'm in a terrible mood. I'm so glad to be here with you, but I'm really in a bad mood. I'm going to talk just a little bit about it, but I'm not going to talk too much about anything else other than the topic because if I do, I'm just going to be grump. I'm going to be a grump.
All right.
I'm going to be a real downer, and I don't want to be a I don't want to be a down. I want to be an upper. So,
but sometimes it's just a downer kind of day.
It is sometimes a downer kind of day. All right. So common mistakes when taking out. Nope. That's not the name. Is that the title that we went with? Common mistakes when taking out student loans. I can't find it.
I think it's close enough.
Don't make these mistakes when taking out student loans. Is that the right name?
Yes, I think that's it.
Don't make these mistakes when taking out student loans. And I need to start a list on don't make these mistakes when going live on YouTube, but that'll be for another video. All right. The reason I'm in a terrible mood is, well, first off, let me start a couple weeks ago. For those of you who watch the show, my wife has stage 4 cancer. She's been in treatment for 8+, probably going on 9 years. And like 3 or 4 weeks ago, she drove to Greensboro, 2 hours away, to then fly to New York. She gets to Greensboro, is getting ready to turn into the parking garage and gets a call saying like, hey, your medicine's not approved. So thankfully they got a hold of her before she got on the plane. But then supposedly we got a call this week, medicine was approved. She flies up to New York. She gets there. She gets up early, goes to her appointment, finds out it has not been approved yet.
It is so
not been approved.
Frustrating.
So they're just going to go ahead and give it to her. Her doctor, the team is amazing. We switched health insurance this year, and that has really been, we were with a small health insurance provider, and I went to school with the person who I went to school with the sister of the person who made decisions on exceptions for medical stuff.
I didn't know that.
We knew them by name, we knew their family. That's what we were working with before, and everything got approved.
Yes.
And now we're working with a giant monstrosity of a health insurance.
Who wants to approve almost nothing in this new.
And the challenge is they have like an algorithm that's like basically like if it's off label or if it's not standard care, then we don't approve it.
And right now she's on like clinical trials and stuff that's not standard.
She's
treatment,
tried everything that's standard.
Yeah.
So there is nothing left. So everything is not standard. So everything is getting rejected. And so it's been going through this process of it gets submitted, it gets rejected. We appeal, it gets rejected. Then there's a peer-to-peer doctor review, and it has been getting approved at that stage. But there's a lot of time and just energy that gets taken up in that. And like time is treatment. You know what I mean? Like time is what we need to be getting on treatment. So anyway.
Can I say one thing though?
Yeah.
Like I've watched you through the years be so wise with your money, you and Sarah. And if you had to, you probably could pay for out of pocket.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's from really wise, staying in a home that you guys could have moved out of 10 years before you did.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that makes all the difference.
The and is too, our community has been extremely generous to us.
Family.
I mean, we're talking the community giving, especially early on, tens of thousands of dollars. And then her parents being extremely generous. And her dad feels the same way. Like I tell her and he tells her, whatever we need, whenever we need it, if it's not approved, we're just going to do it because we need to do it.
And
that's
not
fine.
Everybody can, most people can't do that. And so it is
and my thing is, I mean, even if we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
This is not something that we want to mess around with.
But it is definitely
upsetting and stressful.
Oh, definitely.
And it's upsetting and stressful when you have the insurance that should be covering it and they're not. But so here's what happened. The doctor has a text from the insurance company saying it would be approved if they resubmitted it. They resubmitted it. It didn't get approved. So he's like, I'm just moving forward with it today.
He's got the documentation.
And he said, if they don't approve it, then the hospital will write it off. So that's how great they're being.
Okay.
Again, someone's good. Well, she needs the treatment at this point. So we're just going to move forward. So anyway, that's why
A little grumpy.
A little grumpy, a little stressed,
Yeah.
a little annoyed for her, you
Yeah.
know. I'm here and she's there, and part of that is because our son's starting school this week, and we want one of us to be there with him. You know, sometimes we will have him stay with family, but like first day of school, we
Yeah.
want it to be, you know, special and him to feel safe and all that stuff. So it's like I'm not there with her to bite somebody's head off or what, or just try to like be with her to you know, help her through it all. So anyway, all right. So moving on, we're just gonna jump right into today's topic, and these are mistakes not to make with student loans. And I'm talking to, if you're a student, this is for you. If you're a parent of a child that you're trying to guide through making these decisions, this is for you. So hopefully this will be helpful. And I do want to start with a couple of preferences. One, like I did not finish college. I started college when I flunked out, got on academic probation, got
How
kicked
long did
out.
you stay?
Semester. I mean, a year and a half, probably like 3 semesters.
You did more than I. I made it a semester and a half.
Yeah. And thankfully, both Melissa and I had full ride scholarships.
Yes,
so
we did.
We didn't
burned
go into
those
debt.
up.
We probably, otherwise, we would have been going into, we would have probably
Yeah.
started school, gone into debt, and then, which we'll get into some of the mistakes that you can make. So I didn't finish college. But that being said, like, I am telling my son he's going to college, like just like it's not an option. Like after high
This is
school, you
what
go
we
to
do.
college. And part of the reason for that is like he has what we're calling a fully funded college fund. So it's like there's no reason not to for him. Unless I mean, he may have some very good logic reasons, but for the most part, money won't be a part of that. It'll be like, hey, I want to do something else, but I really don't see that. I think he'll want to go to college. We're just talking like he's going to college. What do you want your college degree to be? What kind of things do you want to do? Is how we're talking. But that being said, like, I don't believe college is for everyone. Depending on what your child or what you want to do, you know, if you're wanting to go in a trade, obviously there's lots of trade school options. Even within IT and programming, there's a lot of certification options that you can do that do not require a 4-year degree.
Yeah.
And so we want to weigh those things and not just say, especially all of this is with the caveat of if you're taking out student loans.
Yeah.
Because if it's paid for, if you have the cash, if your parents have the cash, you have the money, and you want to, do what you want. That's the point of living a life where you have finances, you have options. You don't have to make an ROI decision. You know, you don't have to say like, is this really worth it? You can just say, I want to, and I have the money to, and I can do it. But if you're in the position where you are going to be taking out student loans, then I do recommend that you kind of ask these questions and try to avoid these mistakes. So we're going to move on to mistake number 1, which is looking at the best case scenario, right? Not considering the risks.
Best case scenario of the job afterward.
Best case scenario of the job afterwards. Best case scenario that you'll complete college.
Oh, that's true.
Right?
Yes.
There is mental illness that can kick in, right?
Don't I know it? Yes.
There is physical illness that can kick in.
Yes.
You could get into some sort of accident. Now, if that happens and you have taken out loans and you're not able to complete college, that you are taking out those loans depending on the income that you were going to get after you have the degree, then you don't have that degree in that
but
income,
you've got
but
the
you
debt.
still have the debt. And so we need to consider those sorts of things. Like, we all want to think that our life is going to work out how we planned it and how we hoped it to be, but it doesn't always work out that way. So we do need to realize, A, we may not be able to finish the degree. B, we could get disabled and not be able to work after we have the degree. Again, there are programs and there are different things, but those are things that I think we still need to consider fully. You could hate the job. You know how many people go through 4, 6, 8 years of college, hundreds of thousands of dollars, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, and then hate their job.
Yes.
And this is very common within some of the most expensive degrees. So law, I mean, the amount of lawyers who hate their jobs, hate their lives, hate their work, and then doctors, because it's just high stress. Like you're helping people, but it's high stress. And one thing that I've seen from, I have close proximity to the medical field, is that the hospitals want to attract doctors, so they try to pay a lot, but then they need to require a lot of those doctors, whether that's the hours that you have to work, being like nights or weekends, or how much time you have to work and you're working late. And a lot of doctors, most doctors I know, go into it for the right reasons, and they care about people, which means when it's time to go home and you have somebody that needs you there, it's hard to go back home to your family because someone is dying.
Yes.
Someone is literally depending on you for their life. And it's hard to leave. It's hard to leave that. So anyway, we may not like our jobs. So if you get $100,000 in debt because you think you're going to make X amount of money with this degree, you get into that degree and you hate it and you want to go make canoes, that's not going to pay very much. You still have $100,000 worth of debt, and the canoes is most likely going to take you several lifetimes to pay it off. So number one mistake is looking at the best case scenario. We need to look at the worst case scenarios, and we need to look at all the risks and fully understand those when we're taking out debt. Mistake number two, not shopping around. Not all degrees. Yeah, not shopping around for the college that you're getting the degree from. There is a vast difference in how expensive degrees are, in-state, out-of-state, private school. And we want to have full knowledge of what that's going to cost and consider and do the research of, is one degree that's more expensive going to have any sort of payout, any sort of everybody wants to be like, oh, I went to this prestigious school, but does it really affect how much you get paid? And most of the time it does not. And a perfect example is Sarah. When she was getting her nurse practitioner's degree, she got accepted to 2 colleges. One cost for the entire degree what 1 semester of the other school cost. So, and it was only a 2-year program, so it was 1/4 of the cost. We went with the cheaper one, and I know everyone that works there. I know people that do the hiring. She would not make any different if we paid 4 times as much. But it would have been a lot.
You may feel better about it, or
you may feel better. It feels nicer to say I went to Georgetown than this other college. But that's, again, when we're taking out debt, do you want to take out debt just to be able to hang that and tell people? Maybe you do. I don't know. But here's the thing: you might want that now, but in 10 years, in 20 years, when you're still paying on that debt. And there's a lot of things that you can't do or you're not able to do because of that decision. I think your future self will be like, I don't know, the other degree would have been fine. It would have been fine. It feels real easy when you're taking out the loan,
It does.
So, and it feels real hard, 100 months into paying the loan payment. All right. Mistake number 3 is your cost of living is too high. It feels like, if you're taking out debt, I want to have the full college experience. I want to live on campus. But if you have options to live off campus that are a lot cheaper, to stay at home with your parents, living in the basement, that's not as fun.
It's a bummer.
It is a bummer. But also, again, tens of thousands of dollars of student loan debt in 10 years is a real bummer too. Yeah. And so I really want to encourage you to consider those lower cost of living things that are not as fun. I mean, the same thing goes with, all of your expenses. You have to look at, just like accounting wise, you have your school expenses, but you have all of your other cost of living, your car expenses, all these things. So if you're buying a nice car while you're in college and you're making payments on that, that is taking away from money that you could be paying towards your current school. Rather, that's money that could be reducing your school debt balance. So figuring out public transportation, riding a bike, like really kind of saying, like, how can I keep all of my cost of living low? Food, transportation, and living costs down. Is really, if any money that you save over here is money that you don't have to take out loans for.
And I think that's really valuing your future self.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's
that's
really
what all
taking
of this is
care
about.
Of your future self.
Right. Current self doesn't have to pay anything for it.
Yeah.
It's the future self that does.
And gets to enjoy the nice car.
Yes.
Living on campus, the experience.
Yes. Yeah.
But the reaping of it, we don't think about that 10 or 20 years of reaping.
Yep. Mistake number 4 is taking out loans when you don't know what you want to do. Taking out, so you're starting college, you don't have a college fund, and you have to take out loans, but you don't even know what you want to do for a career.
It's a bad sign.
There, undecided majors, estimates suggest that between 20 and 50% of students don't know what their major is going to be going in, which also means you don't know what your career is going to be. And then career uncertainty, a survey found that 41% of high school graduates felt unprepared to make a career choice or declare a college major at graduation. And that's understandable. Like, these are 18-year-olds. If you're an 18-year-old, you're 18. It's okay, but we don't want to sign up for tens of thousands of dollars worth of loans when we're not even sure what we want to do.
That's a risky gamble.
It is. And so if you're in that position, a lot of places have very inexpensive or even free community college. Start there. Slow your roll. Get a job, get a full-time job, a part-time job. Start taking some classes at the community college. Maybe intern somewhere to get some experience. volunteer for free, like start to expose yourself for things so you can get an idea of what you do like before we sign away years of our lives and payments for a career that is a big question mark at this point. So number 5 is taking out too much debt compared to what you'll bring in. So one of the considerations, I'm not like The Godfather. I'm not 100% anti-debt. I'm okay with you taking out some debt for college. College graduates do make more money. It can have a good return on investment. But what we want to look at is how much are you estimated to make as soon as you graduate? And then we want to use that as a gauge for what is the max student loans. It's not how much you should take, right? We want to take as little as we can. So the general rule is going to be a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you expect to make $40,000, we shouldn't take out any more than $40,000. And again,
total over those 4 years,
which is not a ton necessarily.
That is not a ton.
And again, we want to not look at the best case scenario.
Yeah.
We don't want to look at the average pay of people who have been in the career for 10 years and they're making $100,000 a year. That's not what we want to look at. What is a college graduate right out of school making? And
in your area, unless you're willing to move.
And in your area, yes. And then if you're moving, you have to think about, typically the places that you're looking at where it's going to cost more, your cost of living is going to be higher. So don't take out too much debt. It's generally going to be a 1-to-1 max, but we want to take out as little as possible. Mistake number 6 is not applying to scholarships. If you're having to take out loans, it should almost become a part-time job or a full-time job applying to scholarship. The average student applies to only 2.3 scholarships, some applying up to 5. Award rates are approximately 12.5% of college students receive a scholarship, but only 97% of those awarded are under $2,500, so $2,500. So 97% of scholarships that are awarded are $2,500 or less. But here's what you can learn about that is there's a lot of scholarships. Most people are looking for scholarships that are going to be full rides. There's less than 0.1% of students get a full ride scholarship. But if you can get, let me give you some real life examples from some stories I found online. One student applied to 36 scholarships. Now we're talking. And they were awarded 9, totaling $50,000.
Wow.
So your average was around, for that person, they got some good ones that were around $5,000-ish. But each one doesn't sound like much, but you get 10 of those babies and you're doing pretty good. Another person applied to 14 scholarships, winning 4, and it got them over $40,000. So when you're thinking about applying for scholarships, don't be like, oh, I applied for these 2 that I know about. You want to research, find as many as you can. And I would put that number, again, this is for if you're taking out student loans, closer to 50. Like put a high goal of 50 or 100. Listen, if it's not against the rules, use AI for these applications. Use AI for these essays. Whatever you can do that are within the rules to help scale this and really work it, then do it. Because that $50,000 could make it so that you don't have to take out any student loans. So it could make the difference. You may think you need to take out student loans because your parents don't have like a college fund for you, but you work this right and you could be without any student loans at all. So that's all I got for you today. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. We'll be here on the channel next week and we'll see you then.